Buckle up for a wild ride. Just 20 minutes from Arfa, one of the world's oldest cities, lies a secret that'll flip your understanding of human history on its head. Deep in Turkey's rugged hills, Göbekli Tepe has been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years. But now, as archaeologists dig deeper, they're unearthing mind-blowing evidence that's challenging everything we thought we knew about our ancient ancestors. Let's venture into the mysterious world of skull cults, astronomical masterpieces, and more at this 11,000-year-old temple, the original game changer. Get ready for a blast from the past. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt stumbled upon an incredible discovery in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, but its true significance wouldn't surface until 17 years later. As it turns out, this ancient wonder is not just any old site. It's a whopping 12,000 years old, making it the oldest megalithic masterpiece humanity has ever seen. It predates some of our most iconic inventions like agriculture, pottery, and writing by thousands of years. And here's the kicker. Göbekli Tepe was built an astonishing 7,000 years before Stonehenge. Some even speculate that this ancient site might be connected to the legendary biblical Garden of Eden. Talk about mind-boggling. Buckle up, folks, because Göbekli Tepe is about to rewrite history books. We used to think that large-scale megalithic sites like this one couldn't have existed until we'd mastered animal domestication and farming woe. But it turns out, Göbekli Tepe is the ultimate game changer. This site boasts structures that are not only massive and intricate, but also filled with religious and astronomical significance. The question on everyone's mind: how did these ancient hunter-gatherers manage to build such an incredible wonder? Well, researchers think they've cracked the code. It's believed that Neolithic communities came together to quarry rock from nearby areas and bring it back to construct this monumental site. Mind blown, right? So, how did these ancient builders feed the massive workforce required to construct Göbekli Tepe? That's a puzzle that still has historians stumped. Despite being in the cradle of civilization, surrounded by the world's first domesticated wheat, just 20 miles away, there's no evidence of farming or animal domestication at the site. It's like they were able to mobilize an enormous community without relying on the very innovations we thought were necessary for large-scale construction projects. The question is, how did they do it? Did they have a secret strategy? Or was this just a one-off anomaly in human history? Get ready to have your mind blown. Göbekli Tepe, which translates to Belly Hill in Turkish, is an ancient wonder that's changing our understanding of human history. This colossal mound stretches a whopping 1,000 feet across and sits atop the highest ridge around, making it a dominating presence in its surroundings. But what truly sets Göbekli Tepe apart are its giant T-shaped pillars, massive megaliths that are nothing short of awe-inspiring. These towering structures are some of the oldest examples of monumental architecture ever discovered, and they're leaving archaeologists scratching their heads about how our ancestors managed to create such an incredible feat over 11,000 years ago. Buckle up, because we're about to dive into the most epic archaeological discovery ever. To date, an incredible 43 T-shaped pillars have been uncovered at Göbekli Tepe, with some towering as high as 16 feet and weighing a mind-boggling 50 tons or more. That's like moving a small house. These massive megaliths are organized into 4 circles, with 2 giant pillars standing tall in the center of each, surrounded by a cluster of smaller ones. But here's the thing, we've only scratched the surface, literally. Scientists have surveyed the site and believe there are at least 250 more of these behemoths hiding beneath our feet, potentially creating up to 16 additional circular complexes. That's a whole lot of ancient engineering prowess from hunter-gatherer societies. Now, imagine trying to wrap your head around what kind of creative geniuses designed and crafted the intricate carvings found on these colossal stones. It's no wonder Göbekli Tepe is considered one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Get ready to geek out over some seriously cool ancient art. The T-shaped pillars at Göbekli Tepe are adorned with mind-blowing carvings. We're talking lions, bulls, vultures, scorpions, spiders, and even foxes. It's like an animal kingdom on stone. You'll also spot abstract shapes and some seriously detailed arm carvings along the sides of the tallest pillars. These might just represent humans or gods from their world, but what really takes our breath away is how these intricate designs were created. The level of precision and skill involved in carving these images into massive 50-ton stones is nothing short of incredible. We're talking ancient masterpieces that still leave us scratching our heads. The artists behind these Göbekli Tepe masterpieces were total rock stars, literally. They used an advanced technique called relief carving, where they'd chisel away a raised image from the rest of the stone. This wasn't just a simple carve-and-go situation. It took serious skill and a legacy of expertise passed down through generations of stone workers. Now, let's dive into one of the most mind-boggling sets of carvings, a Pillar 43, the vulture stone. What catches our eye? 3 mysterious handbags, yes, you read that right, adorned across the top of this pillar. But wait, it gets even more fascinating. Similar bag-like carvings have been spotted all over the ancient world, from Egypt to Assyria, India to Central America. This raises so many questions. What did these bags represent? Were they used for storage, offerings, or something entirely different? The mystery remains unsolved. But one thing's for sure, we're totally stoked to be exploring this enigma with you. The handbag mystery just got even bigger. These enigmatic pouches aren't exclusive to Göbekli Tepe. We've found them in Almec sculptures, Assyrian friezes, Egyptian hieroglyphs, and even in ancient tales from as far away as New Zealand. In this Maori myth, a hero's journey to the gods comes with 3 baskets of wisdom. Now, let's bring it back home to Göbekli Tepe. Our vulture stone handbags are not only older, but also super intriguing. So, what do they represent? The leading theory is that these handbags could be a symbol for the cosmos. Think about it, the arched handle might resemble the curve of the horizon, while the rectangular body could symbolize the Earth. Mind blown, right? Could our ancient ancestors have been onto something much bigger than just storing stuff? Maybe they were tapping into a deeper understanding of the universe. The handbag mystery just got a whole lot wilder. While the cosmos theory is out there, some experts are throwing down a different theory. These handbags could have been shamanic drug bags filled with magic dust, used in rituals to blast off into other dimensions and connect with the universe. Sounds like a psychedelic adventure, right? But here's where it gets trippy. The carvings underneath those handbags on the vulture stone might be telling a very different story. Recent translations reveal that this ancient rock art could actually be recounting an apocalyptic event that really went down. Get this, scientists are finding more and more evidence that around 13,000 years ago, our planet got slammed by a swarm of comets. Talk about a bad trip. So, did the builders of Göbekli Tepe use those handbags to try and make sense of the chaos they'd just witnessed? Or maybe they were trying to harness some cosmic power to prevent the next disaster from hitting Earth. Fast forward to the Younger Dryas, a mini ice age triggered by that comet swarm. Talk about a climate change game changer. This 1,000-year freeze was a total planet-wide pivot point. Scientists think it's no coincidence that as Earth thawed out, humans started making some major life changes. The colder temperatures might have pushed our ancestors to ditch the nomadic lifestyle and settle down for good. And with that came the dawn of agriculture. So, were the geniuses behind Göbekli Tepe the actual survivors of this cosmic disaster, or just a few generations removed from the chill? Either way, it's mind-blowing to think about how their ancestors might have witnessed the end of the world as they knew it, and then went on to build an epic temple that'd last for millennia. Here's the deal. The memories of that catastrophic comet strike might have been etched into their collective psyche forever. But did they take it to the next level by building the world's first ever astronomical observatory? Göbekli Tepe is shrouded in mystery, but one thing's for sure, this ancient temple in Turkey might have been more than just a place of worship. It could have been a cosmic calendar. Using super smart simulations of what the night sky looked like back in the day, Italian archaeoastronomer Giulio Magli's research suggests that Göbekli Tepe was designed to keep tabs on the movement of Sirius, also known as the Dog Star. Can you imagine these Neolithic folks using this temple to track celestial bodies and align their lives with the rhythms of the universe? Mind blown. Fast forward to today, Sirius is the superstar of the night sky, shining bright with all its might. But here's the fascinating part. Until around 11,300 years ago, this celestial showstopper was MEA below the horizon from southeastern Turkey. That was about to change, thanks to something called precession, where our planet wobbles on its axis, making the stars appear to shift and change positions over time. And guess what? This cosmic dance brought Sirius above the horizon for the very first time. Could Göbekli Tepe be a temple built to mark this astronomical event? the birth of a star. It's a possibility that'll leave you starry-eyed, wondering if these ancient folks were tracking more than just their daily lives. Get ready for some mind-blowing alignments. Excavations at Göbekli Tepe revealed that 3 of its monumental rings were carefully constructed to point directly at specific spots on the horizon. And guess what? These exact points mark the rising of Sirius, the superstar star we talked about earlier. But here's the thing, these alignments weren't random. They date back to 9,100 BC, 7,750 BC, and 8,300 BC. It seems our ancient friends were keeping track of celestial events, connecting the dots between the heavens and their daily lives. And if that wasn't enough, a mysterious stone carving of a vulture in midair, possibly depicting a comet impact, adds more fuel to this cosmic theory. But buckle up, folks, Göbekli Tepe's mysteries don't stop here. As we dive deeper, we stumble upon some darker secrets. Archaeologists uncovered fragments of 3 skulls, all showing signs of deliberate post-mortem alteration. Welcome to the enigmatic world of Göbekli Tepe, where ancient rituals and human practices blur the lines between the sacred and the unsettling. But what does it all mean? The skulls found at Göbekli Tepe tell a chilling story. They'd been brutally manipulated after death, either beheaded or drilled with holes. Scientists think these eerie finds are proof that our ancient friends were part of a skull cult, where human heads held spiritual significance and were put on display for others to see. But this wasn't an isolated incident. Similar practices date back even further, to the Paleolithic age. Another theory suggests that Göbekli Tepe was a graveyard of sorts, where people brought their deceased loved ones to be devoured by vultures, and there's some compelling evidence to support it. Just look at those megalithic stones featuring vulture carvings or the funerary shrines found in nearby Neolithic settlements. They all point to one thing: vultures played a significant role in these people's funeral rituals, possibly even symbolizing death and rebirth. So what do you think? Were Göbekli Tepe's inhabitants honoring their dead with skull worship? Or did they have a more primal respect for the cycle of life? You might be picturing a gruesome scene straight out of an Aztec temple when you hear skull cult. But let's not jump to conclusions just yet. There's actually 0 evidence pointing to human sacrifice at Göbekli Tepe, so we can rule that out for now. It's more likely that these ancient people were simply honoring their dead in a unique way. Now, let's talk about the monumental task of building this massive site. After all, it took an estimated 10,000 years ago thousands of tons of stones to bring Göbekli Tepe to life. So, what tools did they use? Surprisingly, none have been discovered yet. That's right, no hammers, no chisels, not even a single scraper has turned up in the digs, which is pretty mind-blowing considering how massive this structure is. It seems these clever folks had some tricks up their sleeves, but we'll have to keep digging, pun intended, to uncover more of their secrets. Now that we've scratched the surface on tools, let's dive back into the bigger puzzle. How did they manage to construct those massive stone pillars and intricate carvings? Unfortunately, we still don't have all the answers, but here's the cool part: there might be a ton more secrets waiting to be unearthed. Did you know that only about 5% of Göbekli Tepe has been fully excavated so far? That means there could be major breakthroughs just around the corner. But what really gets me is this: despite being one of the most impressive ancient sites on the planet, no signs of human habitation have been found anywhere. No pottery, no homes. It's as if these people lived elsewhere and only came back to Göbekli Tepe for something special. And that something just might be a wild party. Klaus Schmidt, the lead archaeologist behind this project, thinks Göbekli Tepe was actually a pilgrimage site where they'd gather for ritual feasting. And the massive amount of animal bones supports his theory. So it's time to imagine ancient people coming together in a giant celebration, surrounded by stunning architecture and art that still leaves us speechless today. Let's dive deeper into what makes Göbekli Tepe so extraordinary. The animal remains found on site are wild, think deer, gazelle, and even lions, not domesticated animals like cows or pigs. This detail is a huge hint that the activities happening here took place way before humans started farming and raising animals for food. And get this, it seems like these ancient gatherings were totally intentional. They deliberately buried their treasures, including bones and flints from somewhere else. But what's even more puzzling is why Göbekli Tepe was basically entombed under a massive layer of soil and trash around 10,000 years ago. We're talking about a grand temple that was literally hidden from the world. No one knows why or how this happened. It's like the site just vanished overnight. Here's the thing, Göbekli Tepe's burial might have been what saved it from destruction, but it also kept it under wraps for so long. So why was this incredible temple intentionally covered up and left to rest? One theory is that it wasn't destroyed. Rather, its creators deliberately decided to hide or preserve it in some way. Maybe the descendants of those who built Göbekli Tepe wanted to keep it a secret, or maybe they believed it held spiritual significance that needed protecting. We just don't know for sure. The mystery surrounding its burial only adds to this site's mystique and leaves us wondering about the secrets it still holds. The truth is, our understanding of Göbekli Tepe is still just scratching the surface. There are so many unanswered questions surrounding this ancient wonder. What drove its creators to build such an impressive structure? And why was it